Now it's time for more black. Okay, now time for the hills in the background. So I'm going to make a distant hill over this way. Just a gentle sloping hill. And because it's further away, it does not need to be as bright or solid as a hill that was closer. Everything is a little more faded and gray the further back you go. So, I'm gonna make it a little bit watery. Let's make a gentle little hill. You don't want any stars on your ground, so you're going to have to cover those with more paint. For the foreground, take a little bit more of this straight black. We're going to assume that it's kind of dark out. There's not much light catching on the ground. The next step is to use a liner brush, which is a really thin brush with a fine point. We're going to start doing a tree. I'm going to use straight black paint, so we have the best contrast. Way to get a nice tip in paint is if you roll it and you smooth it out. Okay, fully loaded. So I'm going to put the tree on top of this hill. So this tree's maybe a little bit crooked, might not be the healthiest. It's alone on a hill. The wind blows, makes it bend just a little bit. But for the most part it grew up nice and healthy, so it's going to have a lot of branches. When you're painting with a liner brush, if you want to make it get a little thinner near the end, you start to lift your brush up. You apply it kind of firmly down at the base of where you're starting. So you can imagine these coming out in all directions. It might be a branch that's in front of all the rest. And then there's going to be a branch that's jutting out the backside. So just have fun with it. Just put little twists and knobs in the branches as you go. Continue to make them finer and finer points, the thinner and higher and more towards the outer edge of the tree. If you want to, you can thicken up your tree a little bit. The less healthy a tree is, the more twisted the tree is and the less round shaped or conical shaped it is. It usually has a nice even top if you look at trees. So let's see, where can I show you a good place to go more to smaller bits like twigs. I'm going to thin it out, and if you need to, you can wipe off excess on a paper towel as well. Especially the thinner you get. Don't be afraid to let the branches overlap each other. Here's a real tree that has branches growing all over it 3D. So any little branch I made, I'm going to add other little tiny branches coming off of it. So I might add a few more branches to that later. But I think we need to move on to the last step. Let me clean my brushes. The last step, I'm also going to use the liner brush. And I'm going to make the crest of the moon, probably about right here. We'll have the moon peeking out through the clouds. And it doesn't have to be straight white. It's going to be a lot of white. But you could add a touch of blue or even a little touch of yellow. Or if you wanted to, you can make it a little bit orange. But probably try to not mix the blue and the yellow together. It'd be a green moon. It wouldn't be that bad. It'd still look like cheese, right? So, you can make any type of moon you want. You can make a half moon or a new moon, but that's not as fun. It won't show up as well against the sky. So I'm doing a little crescent moon. Nobody is good at drawing circles. I don't care what they tell you. So I'm going to even out the shape a little bit. Sorry I have to stand in front because otherwise I will not be able to see dead often. The battery ran out on the video. So I finished filling in the moon. I used the white paint and then I filled it in until it was a shape that I was satisfied with. After that, I made a little circle with this area and used the dark blue to paint out any area that would have been blocked that shouldn't show stars behind it, the moon. I also added a little bit of roughness here because if you look at the moon closely or if you have the opportunity to view it through a telescope, it has a bunch of craters and a little bit of rough spots. It looks a little bit more natural if it's not perfect on the inside. So, I had fun. I hope you did too. And this is my starry night. Thank you.